Good morning. My name is George Sanders, and it's always an opportunity to come and converse with the citizen here in Littleton at Littleton Cable Television. Today I want to speak to you a little bit about the CPA. It's the Community Preserve Act, where that the Community Preserve Commission Committee is asking to increase the current 1% that they're getting to 3%. Although there's nothing that is on the town warrant for May, but there was strong talk, and there's still strong talk about increasing this. However, I just wanted to bring out a little information that you need to know about what's going on. And my thing was that taxpayers/voters must vote no to any CAP increase over the 1%. Why? As a taxpayer, we are paying yearly right now the total levies multiplied by 2.5%. We're also paying currently 1%, which is a permanent tax, and it is considered to be an override with the CAP. Who are paying for this? Roughly, there's about 3,500 residents that are paying for this. Only resident pays for this. What taxes are being paid now? Let's just take an average assessment of a piece of property that's valued at $605,862. They minus that by $100,000, and this is where they figure the taxes for the CAP. So that would be $505,862. The tax on that amount is $8,220. 1% of that is $82.20. So roughly, a piece of property that is valued at that, you're currently paying $82.20. As the value lowers or higher, it will go higher or it will go lower. The CPA is something that will benefit the towns. There's no question about it. I'm not saying don't ever give money or have them to come in and ask for increase, but I think there are better ways. I think there are better options for you as a taxpayer, and especially as a resident, to let the town fulfill the obligation there. This is what they would like to happen. Like I used the example of the assessment. If you did 2% on that same assessment number that I just gave you, the $505,862,000, a 2% would be $164.40. If they went 3% on that, it would come out to be $246.60. So right now, you're paying $82.20. Based on that evaluation, you're currently paying that as a resident for that value. So the increase will be $164.40 if they went to 3%. I think there are better ways of doing this. For one, it's a permanent tax that is considered to be an override. So I would say at any town meeting that may be coming up, I would say vote no on this, because a little bit later I'm going to tell you about some options that I think the town needs to put in place with regards to this CPA Act. The other thing that you may not be aware of as a citizen here in the town of Littleton, although 550 King Street, the old IBM area, has been sold. But the thing is, when IBM moved out, and still to this day, the value has not increased because nothing has been done to that property. So maybe you're not aware. The town is entitled to collect the money that it was collecting for the value of the property when IBM was in it. When they moved out, what happened? The town had a lost value of $27,970,700 shifted to the residential taxpayers, which amounted to roughly $767,517 lost in town revenue. That amount has to be made up, and it's being made up by primarily residential taxpayers. Because of the law, you can only shift a certain amount to the commercial and industrial. So there's a very small amount. It's like a 1.5 factor that they have to deal with. So the majority of this makeup is being done by residential taxpayers. It's either the commercial, in this particular case, the commercial is paying a little bit, and residential's taxpayers are paying the rest. So what was the impact with FY23, which we are in? It came out roughly about $130.69 that was added to your taxes. When I say added to your taxes, they evaluated your property and calculated what the taxes were. Then they did amounts of $100,000, and then they calculated what the CPA 1% would be, and then they turned around and added on the $130.69 makeup for IBM. So you probably didn't know that you was paying extra money in your taxes to make up for IBM. Once this picks up and the town makes back this money, then the town will drop that 100 or whatever it may be at the time off of your taxes. But for now, that is what is happening. So the residents really have better options when it comes to this CPA tax. Like I said, it's a permanent tax, and it's something that we wish we didn't have to pay permanent, but that's what we chose to do. And right now, like I say, you're paying 3 taxes here, and this is what's happening. I look at the fact of the 3% at the $164.40 plus the IBM $130.69. That's $295.09. And then when you add the current 1% on, which is the $82.20, then the grand total comes up to $377.29 you as a resident is paying for. I can't do anything about the CPA 1% or the IBM $130.69, but I can give the resident taxpayers a better option of not increasing the CPA to 3%, and that will save you $135.90. My option as the taxpayers is just not the resident taxpayers, but all of the taxpayers, which I come up and I say that we can do better, because what we are missing out on is that there are grants at the state level and the federal level that the town of Littleton is missing out on. For instance, I'll give you an example. The Massachusetts Office of Disability granted $3 million in grant for 44 cities and towns. There's 351 cities and towns in the state of Massachusetts. But believe it or not, Littleton was not one of those 44 cities or towns. We could have spent about $35,000 to make sure that Littleton entire town was in accordance with ADA or where it needed to be brought up to ADA standards. This would have been an opportunity for the town to probably receive maybe $70 or $75 or $80,000 or even more than that out of that grant. It just depends. But we could have gotten money from that grant by simply spending just a few dollars, which could have been replaced by the grant, and we could have used the rest of it for what we needed to do. But we missed out on that. So my thing is that I'm looking at putting a grant writer / procurement administrator position in place. And what does that take? I said $28.50 times 4261 taxpayers. If you multiply that time that, it comes out to $121,000, $438.50. However, that would be an override. It would be a permanent amount that you would pay. That's a big difference between the $377.20 that you would pay. It would be the $82.20 plus $28.50. That's a big difference. And there are other means that the town can use to support the CPA. I don't think they need to go to the 2% or the 3%. The override will yield the town more money by the fact that we put a person in place to go after millions of dollars across the spectrum of the town of Littleton. The schools, the water, different facilities, the Disability Commission, just different things, Historic Society. There's grants out there. They're talking about wanting to put solar on the senior center. There's grants that you can go out there and get that will help with that. Instead of using all monies within the levy. Grant money that come in will save money in the levy and will also give the opportunity to the town not to have to go out and borrow short-term loans. There's a lot of money out there just waiting for people to apply for it. And we need to staff the town with the tools that it needs to do the job in order to get things done that we need done in this town, and stop reaching into the taxpayer's pocket for everything that is needed. We know that there are things that we're going to have to pay. Taxes is one of them, and it goes up every year by 2.5%. That happens, that's standard. I would hope down the road that when 550 and 410 King Street come into place, and when that's completed, but it's 10 years down the road. And we're talking about at that time, perhaps the town will generate about $6 to $7 million coming from those two properties. And then we will be able to do things a little bit different. But at the same time, the cost goes up every year. It costs to overhead operation of the town. It goes up every year. I was amazed when I looked at the position as to what we would do, which I'm going to get to in a minute here, how much money that we put into the benefit package for every employee. And the thing is, we can't continue to reach in taxpayers' pocket and ask them to foot everything there is. I think there's monies that come into the town. We don't even know where it's going. We need to make sure that our administrators are putting money in place to do things that needs to be done. And I just want you to be aware there's a lot when it goes into talking about the budget of the town. There's so much depth to it that we do not know what's all going on. But we expect people to do their part in ensuring that they are doing the right thing for the citizen of the town of Littleton. So I want to add a point here that you may not be aware of. For instance, I looked around and did some research from Washington, D.C. to Maryland to New York to Massachusetts. And the average grant writer across the spectrum of the United States averages about $50,000 a year. But in D.C., it was 74,000 and a few hundred. Maryland is around 72 and a few hundred. New York, it was around the same, 69 or something in that neighborhood. And then Boston was 65,000 and something. But the average came out to putting those four together is roughly, it was about $68,800 and some dollars would have been the average. So I put in the figures for my calculation to offer to you for an override was the $28.50 once I got all of the pieces of what would be needed for that position. And I came out with the position range starting at $65,000 to $75,000 being the max. And I calculated on the max, which would be at $75,000. What the position would cost in benefits. Medicare on the year, it would be $1,078.50. Health insurance, the town pays 70% of it. And the the employee pays 30%. That comes out to be $24,370.08 a year that would cost on that aspect of that. The life insurance, the town pays 70%, the employee pays 30%. That comes out to be $66.36. Retirement, wow, the retirement is where it really costs the town. The town is running about 27.3% of gross salary. And right now, in the retirement alone, they're putting in like $20,475 for this position, say at paying $75,000 a year. When you add up the 1 through 5 that I just mentioned, the total comes out to be $45,998.94. $45,998.94. That's for a job of $75,000 a year. That's how much fringe benefits it costs the town along with the employee for that position. That's how it comes out to be 100. You add the 45,998.94 to the 75,000, it comes out to $120,998.94. That is a lot of benefits that gets paid with a position. So just imagine all the positions that we have in the town and look at the benefit package that's being paid. But at the same token, I look at the fact that this position, this grant position, will be beneficial to the town as a whole. It will cause the town to be able to get grant money to help substitute for using all taxpayer local dollars to buy the product. And that's what we need. We need to get this money out there. There are other communities that are getting the money. There's plenty of that. There may even be some private enterprise out there that we could get some money for. But at this time, we're missing out. Why are we missing out? We're missing out because we don't have no one to Pacific go at working and trying to get that money. And I say we need somebody to do this. Although I've talked to one select person, he's working and trying to see if we can get this done. And I'm here to try to help him, but at the same token, I wanted to tell you, if we did an override of $28.50, we can get more mileage out of that than we could having raising the CPA by another percent or 2%, because it's only dedicated to a particular few things that they use it for. I think there's 4 categories that they use it for. And I would like to have a position where a person can go at monies that can be used not only for the CPA, but can be used for the town in general, for many areas of the town that were qualified to get grant money. There's plenty of grant money out there. It's just that we're not going after it. And we need to go after it. In order to go after it, we need someone in the position to do that. And this is why I come to you and tell you that $28.50, we can put someone in position to go after that money. I'm only going in just with what we need, none extras. But at the same token, let's look at a few things as to how we may be able to support the CPA. Let's look at the things that you're probably not aware of as to what's taking place. And by the way, I'd like to take this time to tell you, all this data that I'm giving you, let me tell you what my sources are. I went to the tax collector, to the town tax collector, the chief assessor office of the town of Littleton, the treasurer office, human service, and the finance director. When I go in to get data, I want to make sure that I'm giving you straight data and good data, because I don't want to shoot off the cuff and tell you this or tell you that. I put a lot of time in preparing to come before you on this program. I have been working on this at least a month to get all the pieces. I was scheduled to go early, and then I come to find out that I needed this, so I called the producer here and said, I need to cancel because I need to get a few more pieces in place here. So I just dug right in and started going after everything so I could bring you a reasonable and what I consider something that is clear and how we would benefit if we did the override of a less amount of money than what the CPC wanted you to do, up to 3%, which would have been $164.40 above what they're already getting. So here's what I come up with. How can they support this? The town got free cash. The town most certainly can put a stabilization fund together for the CPA and put free cash money in. But let me tell you about free cash. There's no such thing as free money. They call it free cash. It's the political terminology that they use, free cash. Free cash is excess taxpayers' money that the town is holding. That's what that is. There's no free cash. As they say in the political arena, there are no free cows. This is taxpayers' excess money that the town has, and they're calling it free cash. That's the term that they use. So they could be putting some money over there, same way that they put money into the senior center concept when they was doing that. or you can get donation gifts. Private donation gifts can go to the CPA as well. Or any proceeds from any municipality property that they sell, they could put that money over into the stabilization of the CPA. Let's talk a little bit about the local taxes and so forth and so on. Listen to what I said. The last quarter ended on December the 30th, 2022 for that year. This is how much money the town of Littleton collected for that last quarter. Meal taxes was $61,350.65. Now just imagine what they collected for the previous 3 quarters. The room occupancy tax was $85,051.56. And imagine what it was for the 3 previous quarters. The marijuana retail tax, it was $34,250.14. Again, imagine what it was for the 3 quarters previous. The urban redevelopment, there was no money collected for that. So the total came out to be $181,652.35. Now, if you multiply that times the 4 quarters, that would be $722,609.40 for the year of 2022. It is more likely that that number may very well be higher because of the summer and the fall, whereas that the summer and the spring rather, whereas that the fall and the winter would probably be down. But nevertheless, it shows that the fall and into the winter, they collected $180,652.35. So I think the previous quarters probably was higher than that. My concern is that these are means that they could use. Let's say, for instance, if they took the marijuana tax and the meal tax and put that in to the CPA stabilization, that would be roughly $400,000 in a year, plus your free cash that they talk about. There are other money. We don't even know right now. We don't even know where this money went or what it's being used for. We don't know that. I couldn't find out where it was being used, but I know what they received. This came off the Massachusetts local revenue aid account that went to Littleton. So it's very clear to me that there's a better way and there's a better option that we can support the CPA. Now, if we can get the town to put this grant writing in without the override, that'll be great. But if not, I will be coming to you and saying, here's a worthwhile $28.50 that I would ask you to do an override for, that is going to benefit us in the long run and keep government officials out of our pocket. Because at some point and some day, I would hope that Littleton will be able to do the one thing that my longtime friend, Mayor Dean Massarelli, the mayor of the city of Leominster, did for the resident in Leominster, was that he reduced, instead of taking the max of 2.5%, he reduced that amount and took less. So once we get 550 and 410 on board, and the amount of money we got, and if we get this grant writer in place and the money is coming in, I expect the town to do right about the citizen here in Littleton. And that is, instead of you coming and taking the max of 2.5 of the levy every year, maybe once in a blue moon here or there, maybe only take 2.25% instead of 2.5%. I think we deserve for the town to be appreciative of what we've been doing and what we've been bearing. So I think that the right thing is to get a person in place, a worthwhile position in place that is going to bring money to the town. Instead of the town spending money, bring money into the town. This would be beneficial for us as taxpayers. And I think that this increase, and this may very well go up as far as the number of taxpayers. Right now, it's the last quarter, it was 4,261 taxpayers versus 3,500 taxpayers with the CPA. So my override will go after more taxpayers to help support this position by at least 750 more taxpayers. As I said, 3,500 is the rough number for the resident. So the $28.50 will not only be shared by the residential taxpayers, but as well by those that are not resident. So this is why I come to you to tell you a little bit about why it is important that you vote no at any town meeting with an increase to the 1% that you're already being paid by you. There are means, if we search out and find, just like I've done here, spending a month putting this together, checking with the appropriate authorities, and find out just how this physical picture looks for the town of Littleton. How much money is coming in? Where are some places that we can take and grab some money and put over here to do what's what? I'm not saying what the CPA is doing is not worthy. It is worthy. But at the same token, is it always worthy to reach in your pocket and grab all the taxes that paid, all the money that comes in some fashion or form? You know, it's your taxpayer. It's you, the taxpayer, that's paying. You pay taxes to the state. You pay taxes to the Fed. You pay taxes to the local. It's all your tax money. But there's no need, if there are other means and there are other options that can get some money to do what they need to do over at the CPA. And I think this is a golden opportunity that if we can get this grant writer / procurement administrator in place, that position, it will benefit you as a taxpayer. It will benefit the town as a whole in trying to bring in millions of dollars that are out there waiting in grants at the state level and the federal level that the town of Littleton at the current time is missing out on. We should not be missing out on any money. We need to staff this town with the tools that is needed to make it a lot better, but at the same time, not reaching in taxpayers' pockets to always make it better. And this is why I've came to you and said, this is what's going on. This is what's happened. We need to understand where our money is going. We need to understand, is there a better way? Are there ways that we can do better? Of course we can do better. And I'm saying to you, this is the time to consider, but I'm going to see. I may have to come back to you and reiterate the fact I need to do the override of the $28.50 if we can't get that position in place by any other means. And we're saying that, I'd like to take this opportunity, as always, to thank you for the opportunity to come before you and tell you what I believe and what my thoughts are and the effort that I put in, because I want to give it to you straight and let you know it is important that we do the right thing, and we do the right thing always. And with having said that, have a good day. God bless you, and I hope to see you in the soon. Thank you. Good afternoon. As you know, I'm George Sanders, and once again, I come to the citizens here in Littleton to ask of you with regards to our election that is coming up on May the 6th, 2023. There are three candidates that I like to endorse and would ask that you consider giving them a vote. And I would like to thank you in advance for that consideration at this time. The first person that I want to speak about is Mr. Matthew Norhouse. He is currently the chair on the select board. Mr. Norhouse has done, I think, a tremendous job as a select person for us here in the town of Littleton. He is someone that listens to you and that will do his best to get answers for questions that you have that he don't have answers for. So I always think that's important when someone will take the time and effort to go and find the answer and come back and let you know what's going on. I think he's done a very good job in terms of trying to ensure that the town of Littleton is being able to stay within the levy, pay our debt down. I know we're on a pretty good roll right now of getting rid of our debt. That's along with FinCom, that we're taking the opportunity there to keep us in check. And I think Mr. Norhouse, I believe that he's a real good hard worker, and that he deserved the opportunity for another chance to be on the select board. And I would ask you to kindly consider him for one of your votes at the May 6th election. Excuse me. The next person I want to speak about is a newcomer to the political arena, and that's Karen Morrison. Excuse me. She is a newcomer, and she's running for the first time for the select board. And I think that she is someone that, again, that will listen to what the citizens have to say, and she will search out and take the opportunity to find out and get back to you. She's a very dedicated person in terms of getting things done. I know she works with the basketball team there, which my son is on, and her son is on, and she's a very caring person here in the town of Littleton. And I think that the opportunity here to get some fresh eyes on the council, to see what's going on, what's happened, how things can be done better, different approaches, different avenue. Well, Karen is the person that is willing to look into things like that and try to get things done in a timely manner. And I believe that she will be a great asset to the select board if you will consider voting her as a representative. One of the things that you can always count on is that she will get back in touch with you. At least that's what I've had the pleasure of knowing about her, is that she's very conscientious about getting things done. And she's always responded to me, my emails and so forth. So I think we have a candidate here that's worthwhile given the opportunity to serve us. And the last person is Anna Houston. She's on the planning board. She's up for re-election. And I want to tell you, Anna is a very dedicated, and when I say dedicated, that's with all caps. She is a very dedicated citizen here in the town of Littleton. And I can tell you, first and foremost, she looks at everything in protecting Littleton interests when it comes to development. And you can say what you want to about Anna, but I tell you one thing, she is always there. She is always working hard. She's always making sure that she is challenging the developers and ensuring that the language is saying and what they're saying is in the contract, and that they're going to do what they say that's in the contract. She is very keen on ensuring that that kind of information is there in writing and not just hearsay. And she wants to make sure that Littleton interest is being protected. And she does a fantastic job of doing that. And I believe that all three candidates are superb candidates that will do a good job in representing the citizen here in the town of Littleton. And I ask you on the 6th of May if you would consider voting for these three candidates for these two offices, Select Board and the Planning Board. And with having said that, again, I want to thank you very much and have a great day, and God bless you and yours. Thank you.